Hello there, and welcome to this week's edition of Crazy Critique. Now, the newest theatrically released film I've been to see this week is the newest film from director John Hillcoat, whose previous films have included the likes of The Proposition, Australian Western, The Road, a post-apocalyptic film starring Viggo Mortensen, the Prohibition-era crime drama Lawless, and this is his most recent film on the scene. So what does the film focus on? The film focuses on a group of cops, some good, some bad. So it's going to be quite a bubbling crime drama. It's clearly going to be. Now, I'm just going to go straight into the fact that this is an ensemble cast. There's not particularly one actor who is possibly the lead. The only one you could possibly say taking leads from different angles of the story are Chiwetel Ejiofor and Casey Affleck, with lots of support from the likes of Anthony Mackie, Aaron Paul, Norman Reedus, Clifton Collins Jr., Gal Gadot, Michael K. Williams, Teresa Palmer, and significant support from Woody Harrelson and Kate Winslet. So, this is one hell of a cast, isn't it? Particularly when you've got the likes of Kate Winslet and Woody Harrelson in there, with the likes of, like, say, Chiwetel Ejiofor, and sort of the best of what TV has to offer in Norman Reedus, Michael K. Williams, and Aaron Paul. So you'd think this would have all the makings of quite a nifty little thriller. I have problems with it. Now, I'll just tell you the brief sort of synopsis of the story. The film starts with a bank heist. You think obviously it's criminals taking on this bank heist. They are, but they're also cops. A couple of them are, with a couple of career criminals in there to boot. So this this gang is led by Chiwetel Ejiofor's Michael in the film, and he's actually the leader of this gang. But he works very well with a couple of crooked cops and a couple of his own team. His own team includes Norman Reedus and Aaron Paul. Crooked cops include Clifton Collins Jr. and Anthony Mackie. So this is where the opposing effectively, Casey Affleck is sort of going to be the moral cop hero here in this film. And now, my main problem with the film is because although it does build a decent amount of tension, with a fabulous fabulous music score by principally Atticus Ross, but also who's involved? Was it Bobby Kurlich and Leopold Ross? I assume is a relation of Atticus. And that's not surprising given the recent film scores that Atticus Ross has been involved in, whether it's Gone Girl or Social Network or The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Some fabulous music scores going on, and I really like his style of scoring a film, the electronic sort of angle. Well, given that's a part of his music history, isn't it? So fabulously scored. It's got such a nice tint to the film of such a gloomy crime drama sort of. I don't know what sort of the tilt is. What's the best way of describing it? I've gone off wrong with it here. Sorry about that. But my main problem with the film is, although it's decent enough. It's not bad, but it's not great by any stretch of the imagination either. And I can say that sounds like, and say it's decent enough, it sounds like a backhanded compliment, doesn't it? And the main reason why I'm going to go into the cast, because the problem I had with the cast was I only really managed to care about Chiwetel Ejiofor's character, which is a problem considering there's such a significant ensemble. It's such a significant ensemble piece of a film. Although I must say, Woody Harrelson every now and then does burst into acting life, but then he very quickly slips into previous roles he's inhabited. True Detective came straight to mind with some of the aspects of his cop performance, because he's a troubled cop doing his own thing effectively. And I have an absolute problem, I think. This is my own problem with what I deem to be Casey Affleck's non-acting style of acting. I don't know if anybody will get what I mean there, but from the films I've seen him in, although at first it was an intriguing style of acting, I don't know. I just don't think it works. I really don't think it works. There's subtle and there's non-effortless. There's effortless, isn't there? But without any effect. I don't think there's a discussion to be had there with his style of acting. I don't know if anybody agrees with me, but I'm sure I can discuss it with people who have seen his other films. Let's go into other stuff. Clifton Collins Jr. is pretty decent enough as the crooked cop. There's not enough Norman Reedus. It's a shame because he's very good in The Walking Dead. And I honestly can't decide what I think about Kate Winslet's performance as effectively a Russian mafia boss. It's like she did step off the set from her role in Steve Jobs. Now that doesn't sound like any sort of segue to segue these two films. In a mafia boss in 999 from a assistant, was it Polish assistant or Hungarian assistant in Steve Jobs? That sounds like no sort of segue, but in terms of the accent, I'm purely talking because it's like she's took that accent straight from that film and just reutilised it slightly for this Russian mafia boss. Now, although it's quite interesting to see a woman boss, a criminal boss in a film, I just don't know what I got from it. I honestly just don't know. I can't say whether it was good or bad, which is, I suppose it's interesting if there's a discussion there. But yeah, I'm not sure what I got from it. Like I say, the score is dark and brooding. It's just a shame that the world it desires to create doesn't quite live up to that. Because it has, like I say, there's a fabulous cast in place there. There's a nice score going on, and although yes, it's fair to say we've had this sort of story before regarding crooked cops and robbers and mafioso links and things like that. It's a genre that can be so good, and it's an unfair, very very unfair comparison to make. But let's face it, when you're making this sort of film, you're aiming for the highs of something like Heat, aren't you? And like I say, it's unfair to sort of make that comparison, but that is the problem. Is when you've had films like that, there's a bar being set, and then it's about other films trying to reach that bar. It's decent enough, 999 as a thriller. Some of the dialogue is entertaining enough, but there's other stuff in it that's, I've heard this before, there's nothing new, you're not capturing my attention. That's just my feeling about it, which is a shame because, like I say, I genuinely like the look of the cast. And now I must say about John Hillcoat's previous films, because including Lawless, particularly Lawless, I'll say, The Proposition, and The Road, I've seen all of those films, and I think I have a problem with, they don't tend to linger in my mind. The Proposition has a certain style, a brutality that I really did like, but Lawless, I really look forward to seeing that film. Maybe the trailer did not do it any justice whatsoever, but I've completely forgotten the plot and the performance in that film. Considering again, if you look at the cast of that film again, you've got Tom Hardy, okay, Sheila LaBeouf, but Tom Hardy and Guy Pearce and Gary Oldman, and once again, it's not quite utilised again. I suppose you've got to look at the writers, because it's not only onto the director. The writers have got to produce something that he's able to direct really, really well. And I don't think the writers have done him any justice, to be fair. So, yeah, I'm extremely, It's a decent enough film, 999, but it's not have no lingering effect on you after you've left the cinema, other than maybe the score and a couple of the performances. Chiwetel Ejiofor is decent enough. Woody Harrelson has moments of really entertaining moments and quite good moments, but then it was quickly slip into similar, like I say, like I've said previously in the review, previous Roses Inhabited. So it's then sort of, I've seen this before. Yeah, that's 999 really, in a nutshell. You've kind of seen most of it before, with a couple of little twinges here and there that are quite decent. But yeah, it's alright. There's my review of 999. So my that was my theatrical release film of the week. My classic film of the week is certainly one that that everybody is not going to agree with. The film in question is 1997's Starship Troopers. Now, when I was talking previously there about 999 regarding its taking influence or trying to match up to to films within that genre and not quite succeeding. What Starship Troopers is doing, what Effective the film is about is a group of young Americans, quite, it's fair to say, sort of optimistic Americans, quite pretty Americans, going to war with bugs on another planet, because effectively what is going on this other planet is there's forces coming from the bugs on this planet that are knocking asteroids out of their orbit and sending them towards Earth, therefore causing massive destruction. A massive propaganda campaign is launched by the forces on Earth to launch an army to go and attack the bugs on Klendafu, I believe the planet was called. And you have not quite seen a film like it, unless you have seen a previous Paul Verhoeven film. In terms of its style, I mean, and the look of a film. Because what Paul Verhoeven does, he sort of makes... It's quite good timing, the fact that Deadpool is in the cinemas right now and giving you an entertaining film for adults. And I mean on quite a simple level. And when I say simple, I don't mean it's stupid. I mean on a level where it's not asking you to think and think and think and think and think all the time as an adult to make you entertained. You can do a film where adults are entertained with adult themes, but not have it be too ridiculously intelligent. And when I'm obviously talking about these sort of things, I'm referring to things like there's extreme violence, but there's a way of using extreme violence. Because if it's just violence for violence sake, it's not entertaining, it's just kind of grotesque. There's a way and style of using it. And the same goes for profanity and even for nudity and things like that. So all those sort of things are on show here. There's nudity, there's sex scenes, there's extreme swearing, and like I say, lots and lots of violence regarding limbs, heads exploding, bugs being splattered all over the place, and it's something that you do not get to see that very often, which is why it's built such the cult audience I believe it's got now these days. Like I say, I love Paul Verhoeven's films in the science fiction genre. RoboCop and Total Recall are some of the most uniquely looking and themed science fiction films that have ever been made. Whether you think they are the best science fiction films to be made is up for debate, but you cannot argue their style and their appeal in what they bring to an audience, because they keep you entertained, and once again Starship Troopers does that here. You can tell that I'm a lot more passionate about this film because I'm able to just reel off little spews of dialogue here, unlike like I've just done previously with 999. Because if a film does that to you, it has got you, hasn't it? Because you can talk about it with such, even for its flaws, and there are big flaws with Starship Troopers, although you've got to go straight to that propaganda, those propaganda war segments that are truly fantastic, because I've done quite a bit of reading up on what all the themes of the film are, and yes, there's lots of things and touches on fascism and how certain things are fashioned in the way of how the Nazis were and uniforms and things like that. And like I say, the propaganda to fight the cause, if you will, is very, very interesting and utilised in this film. Yeah. I'm going to refer to it. See, many people could refer to this film as quite in a way, Aliens Light, or which is quite often labelled something like Pitch Black as well. But what it utilises well is the characters, because they are, yes, let's face it, some of them are quite annoying, some of them are quite, I'm an all-American hero, but there's interesting things going on, particularly with Castor Van Dien's character. And considering the events that happened during the film, things happen to his character that make him grow as an individual. And it's not something you would expect in a B science fiction fascist sort of satire of a film. And he supported it with his friends from the likes of Denise Richards, Neil Patrick Harris, and Dina Meyer, and Jake Busey. Some interesting performances there, not all great, but some entertaining. I really like Jake Busey in this film. He's quite entertaining, and Dina Meyer is quite spunky. If you will, quite fun. It's entertaining. It must be said, the effects, I'll refer to two sides of the effects. There's the more the more computer generated. They're both computer generated, but one's doing a lot better than the other, and one is dated a lot better than the other. The scenes in space are they've dated with the spaceships and battles and things going on there. Although when the ship splits in half, that is very good, but there's other things in it you think, that's not dated very well. The effects there haven't dated too well. But what has dated fabulously well is the effects on the planet with the bugs and the actual creature effects. They're fabulous. They've got a unique look about all these different bugs. There's different ideas going on. Yes, there's riffs on the likes of, like I say, Aliens, where there's things about different bugs for different roles and different things like that. And there must be there's even like sort of quotes that you would think would directly out of something like Aliens, where there must be something we've not seen yet. That's exactly a line out of Aliens. Now, of course, I love Aliens, so you'd think I would be extremely scrupulous in my dissection of something that was trying to imitate it. But it's doing it with the most amount of fun that you ever experience. It's a silly science fiction film. It is a silly science fiction film with interesting angles, like I say, with those propaganda fascist moments. And it gives you something that you're not seeing all the time in cinema, and that is why I think it's got such a cult audience it has. And hopefully with something like The Like of Deadpool nowadays, this is no longer be a cult film. This can be a mainstream film. And when I say mainstream, I don't mean, everybody must see it. I mean, there should be a market that makes studios want to make them for that audience. You're seeing it with other genres of film that are getting more of a audience, but I think it is a really, really entertaining, yes, B science fiction film, but Paul Verhoeven, great work. He does great work in the science fiction genre, and he has such a unique style and look to the film. Oh, Michael Ironside, great in it, isn't he? Michael Ironside, fabulous. Clancy Brown's great as well, actually. Great score of a film. It's obviously all drums and things like that, military drums, but it's a great utilisation of that sort of, like I say, propaganda to go into war sort of themes and motifs. So it's a really, really entertaining film, Starship Troopers. I really do enjoy that film, and it's certainly worth your attention, because like I said previously, you're not seeing a lot of that sort of thing in cinema. Lots of things in it are silly, yeah, but it's so much fun to watch, and I think it's certainly a film worth revisiting and watching. So yeah, that's my classic film of the week, Starship Troopers. I thank you if you have for watching. I do hope you subscribe to me, and I do hope to see it and speak to you again very, very soon. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.